Purdy and the
Why
Prince
are you
faced up.
disgusted?
Because
Why are you
I
disgusted?
faded Brock Purdy for the first time, I feel like, all
Oh,
season, and that came back to bite me in the
oh,
butt. Because
yeah,
this
that's
Prince
right.
guy is supposedly got
Yeah.
this pedigree, and he's better than Brock Purdy because he went to
hmm
this college and this one middle school. So
Yeah.
how did his pedigree help him in this game versus Brock Purdy? He were obviously coming off the longest win streak in the
Well,
NFL. Niners lost 3.
listen.
What happened?
So what you said at the end there might have been what happened, but I'll get to that in a second. Um, Listen, Trevor didn't play well. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And Trevor didn't play well, and he needs to play better. Now, last year, this was the exact time he turned his season around. They were 3-7, and then they went on a run, and he went on a run. This year, fortunately, they're 6-3. But statistically speaking, there's no denying it. He has not been the guy that I thought he would be this year. I thought he would be right alongside Mahomes as the leading MVP candidate, and he's giving you what, he's averaging 1 passing touchdown a game. He has not been as good as I thought he would be, as good as he needs to be. His fumbling has been a problem. The interceptions hadn't been a problem until this week. And the team right now is 6-3, which you would obviously have taken before the year, but his play has not lined up with their overall record in spots. Now, I think the touchdown numbers are a little misleading because they've had turnovers in the red zone problems, which is, some of that's on him. They've had a lot of bad fumbles. Some of that's on him. Also, they are running the ball into the end zone disproportionate to how they're moving the ball down the field. And prior to this week, they had a lot of leads at halftime, so they're running more in the second half. But Trevor needs to be better. There is no denying whatsoever that Trevor has not been, thus far this year, the level of player that I said he was going to be. Now, do I still have faith that he is that level of player? Yes. To mention him for the second time on this pod, Ben Solak for The Ringer is putting a lot of this on Press Taylor, the play caller for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That may or may not be a part of it, but Trevor needs to be better. So there's the Trevor piece of it. Now, to the Niners piece of it, I think, so let me be very clear here. That was a really good win by the Niners, a really good game by Brock Purdy. There is no denying it. If folks want this to have some massive impact on my opinion of Brock Purdy, I'm sorry, it doesn't. We knew that when he's got all the Avengers there and they're playing from ahead, he looks great. Now, I did not think they were going to be playing from ahead. I thought Jacksonville was going to put up more resistance, and I thought Jacksonville's offense was going to be better. So that's not what the game turned into. But the questions that I had about Purdy that reared their head during the losing streak of, if you're not dominating an opponent, are you able to, be a force multiplier for your team? Those questions still remain in spades. Now, dominating the Jaguars makes the Niners as a team look even more formidable. And I said before the game that if the Niners won, they would be able to tell themselves and tell everyone, look, when we are healthy, we're the best team in the league. Now, do I believe that? I don't. Do they have the resume of it? They do. They're not only beating people, they're blowing people out when they're at full strength. But we knew that Brock Purdy could play that type of game under those circumstances. Reminded me a lot of the Cowboys game, where you're playing a tough opponent that's got a good defense. You get out to an early lead, and you are cooking. And he was cooking. The throw to Kittle, now the first touchdown, Kyle Shanahan said after the game, was the worst decision he's made since he's been a Niner. It ended up being, working out for him, but the across his body into the end zone. His coach, don't take my word for it, his coach said it was the worst decision he's made. Brock said it was a bad decision. The second touchdown, the pass to Kittle, was unbelievable. He can't even set his feet. He's got a pass rush, and he launches it. So I give him, credit. But does it change my opinion of him? It does not. All right, next, Amaze.
CJ Stroud taking the league by storm.
Hold on. Before we do that, they wanted me to go over.
Guys.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you gifted some tailgaters in Jacksonville or Duval $500 for some Casamigos, and they tweeted out a little shout out. Thank you.
So I'll go through this. So these guys, Dunn and Andrew, pardon me, they do some media with Jacksonville. They do a podcast there. They're massive Jags fans that cover the team. And they do, for home games, I've seen it on social media, they do these Casamigos tailgates where they spin Casamigos bottles and they drink. And, it's probably a little, maybe a little overindulgence, but whatever. It's good fun. It's football. And I saw that they were asking for donations for it. So I tweeted to them, how much are y'all trying to raise here? And their official account, Dunn Andrew, I said Dunn Andrew, pardon me, wrote, you throw $5, we'll be grateful. So I Venmo'd them what I thought would take care of all the Casamigos they needed, like 10 bottles. So I sent them $500, and then because I'm damn near 40 years old, I was like, please, don't nobody get alcohol poisoning. I don't need that on my conscience. And then I said, reminder, kids, the paying for the Casamigos and the Royal Trumpeters on First Things First is free if you bet on the Jags +3. Now, that didn't work out for me. It was $500. Then there's the Trumpeters cost, which they came just to mock me, and I lost the bet. So that part didn't work out. This part was very cool, though, however, which is they had this giant poster of a guy in a Jag suit with my face and an actual Jaguar on a leash, and they were bringing it around the tailgate. So I still think the Jags are a good team. Do I think they're the Chiefs? No. Do I think they can look eye level with every other team in the AFC? I absolutely do, including your beloved Ravens and the Bengals, who we'll talk about in a moment. But this was a rough game, but I'm glad they had fun before the game. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.